welcome back to another episode of the Cody Tucker Show. As always, I'm your host, Cody Tucker. So, let's just go ahead and kick right into things because I just watched this documentary, just finished watching it, like moments ago. It's fresh on my mind, and I definitely think should just go in while the emotions are hot. There's no chance that I would say anything that I would regret, in a situation like that. So, yeah. All right, so on Netflix, there's a new Netflix. Before I kick into this, Netflix needs to cut out the doom doom bullshit because, well, partly on my fault, had my TV turned up way louder than I thought I did, and when that doom doom hit, God, I was having Vietnam flashbacks. Yeah, damn near tinkled a little. Just not a good. They need to cut that shit. There's no reason for that. And also, and there may be a way to fix this. I just don't. I'm not gonna ever look up how to do it, but there probably is a way. Whenever I'm scrolling over onto a title, you don't got to play the fucking trailer. I can, make an option to where I can click and watch it or something. Or if I click on it, play the trailer. But if I'm just hovering over it, and then the trailer's fucking loud as hell, it bothers me. Just Netflix needs to, stop trying to do all this cute shit. And, less is more. So, yeah. Which is not Netflix's modus operandi, I'll tell you that. But whatever. So anyways, go to Netflix because there's a new documentary came out. And boy, oh boy. So the documentary is Unknown Number, High School Catfish. Now, before I even get into this, I'll go ahead and preface by saying I'm about to spoil the whole fucking thing. So fair warning to anyone who hasn't watched it and who gives a fuck about, the ending. If you, don't want it spoiled for you, just go ahead and fast forward to me talking about fucking Bill Belichick's gold digging girlfriend. So, yeah, a little sneak peek for you. But, yeah. So, Unknown Number. I'm just going to kind of go through it as I watched it and what my thoughts are as I was going through the movie. Because boy, I didn't know a thing about this documentary before I watched it. I had never heard of this. I didn't know the story, didn't know who did it, didn't know the resolution, if you want to even call it a resolution. Didn't know anything about it. So I'm going into this sumbitch blind as a bat. And boy, it took me on a bit of a roller coaster. Yeah, which I love. I love that feeling. When you watch something, you think, God damn, I really don't know what is happening right now. And that's kind of what was going on with this. So, just to, to give a little bit of a little background info on what is going on in this thing. So there's these two teenagers in somewhere in fucking bumfuck Michigan. God, that accent. That's a bad. Who the hell hears that and goes, oh my God. You don't hear an accent like that and get hard nipples. Now, granted, I understand that my accent kind of makes me sound like if Sling Blade, if Billy Bob Thornton and Sling Blade just had a couple more IQ points. That's about where I'm at as is. So I understand, that I really don't have a whole lot of room to speak, but I'm still gonna. And so, anyways, they're in the middle of fucking nowhere in Michigan, aka Michigan, and it's the story of this young girl. I believe she's probably about 14, 15, named Lauren. Her boyfriend Owen. Now they're just having a very typical high school romance. Very like just average fucking kids. Nothing crazy, but seem like good kids. And out of nowhere, poor Lauren starts getting these texts from a random number that are just saying some wild shit in very poor grammar. Which I don't know which would bother me more, to be honest, because I am kind of a stickler for grammar. So, yeah, it'd be a double whammy for me. But anyway, so he's getting these messages and they're just coming in non-stop and saying some fucking horrific things to this poor girl who, it's got to be tough enough as it is to be a teenage girl. Like I know how tough it was for me when I was a teenage girl. It was a goddamn nightmare. I was constantly worried about what people thought. And I know you look at me now and say, "My God, we would never think that coming from somebody who just exudes confidence." Yeah. But yeah, it's a rough time in your life being a young teen. You don't know what the fuck's going on. Things are changing. You got things morphing that you didn't think that was going to happen. I don't know. And for me personally, I didn't know any of that shit was going to happen. There was no talk about the changes your body's going through. I didn't have the "Are you there, God? It's me." What was it? "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret." I didn't have that book, so I was very confused when I started bleeding. Yeah, when I hit my period for the first time, boy, was I losing it. Anyways, so poor Lauren, she's going through all this shit and getting all these messages, which just got to be fucking her up, And then at the same time, her boyfriend Owen, who also seems like a very good young man. It's hard to say young man. They're kids. They're fucking kids. Poor, Owen is also getting these messages. And they have no clue who it's coming from. It's just constant shit. And they after a little while tell their parents. And the parents are reading them. They're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, who is sending this shit to our children? The kids, damn it. And, which I'm not a parent, at least until the DNA tests come back. But I can't imagine what I'd do. If I had a young girl or a boy and, some random number sending this kind of shit, like the shit that's being said in these messages, like, to poor Lauren is like, you ain't got no tits, bitch. Like, you don't say some shit like that to someone. Or, you ass ugly. Not good. Again, the grammar, for fuck's sake. But yeah, I'd fucking lose it. So they finally go to the school. They tell everybody what's going on at the school. And, they seem like they actually do give a fuck, which is also pretty foreign to me. My school would not have, they'd been like, all right. There's not a lot of concern about things like that when I was growing up. But yeah, and it just keeps going and going, and it gets weirder and weirder. Like, this person seems to know these two very well. And you're like, God damn, like, how, they know that, they have some friends who would know a lot of these things and are around them enough. So it's like, okay, like, is it one of them? They start kind of going through the list. And then what bothered me, earlier on in the documentary, is that they waited 15 months before they got the police involved. Now, I don't know what protocol is for like handling situations like that, but I feel like if a year goes by and every single day these messages are keep coming and they're getting creepier and creepier and more fucked up, I feel like I'd probably get the law enforcement involved. Maybe a little earlier than 15 months. I don't think I'm going to trust my fucking, the school's principal and his, reconnaissance team to be able to crack the case on this. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting the authorities in the mix a lot earlier than 15 months. I also, for one, feel like, my kid's getting a new fucking phone number, which they do address that. Like the Owen's mom is saying how, well, we just wanted to know who did this. And if we got him a new phone with a new phone number, we would lose, they wouldn't be sending the shit to my kid anymore, so we won't know. I think I'd rather just not have my kid hear all this shit every day. I don't know. Or maybe, just don't read the messages would also be kind of a good idea. Which I know easier said than done, but not really, because I ignore messages like a motherfucker. It's my go-to, reaction to text messages. I'm not reading that. And, yeah. So, yeah, I don't get the whole, I don't get that, but each, we're all different. Little snowflakes we are. And so this shit keeps going. They think they've kind of narrowed it down to this one girl, a girl named Chloe Wilson. And what's crazy is that it took 15 months to even bring up this name. Because this girl apparently has had issues with old Lauren the whole time. And they're just now bringing this up. See, this is where what I'm saying is like where you think like, I'm not like that smart of a person. I'm decently smart. I can make myself seem smart. But deep down, I know I ain't. I ain't got it all going on up there. But I feel like I would have asked pretty early on, hey, is there anybody that don't fucking like you? Like, so you're getting these hateful messages saying some fucked up shit about you. You got an enemy? Like, do you have anyone that you might have rubbed the wrong way or feels rubbed the wrong way by you? Because goddamn, it seems like this girl would have came up pretty fucking quick, and it didn't. It's like, all right. So I'm immediately just off on the whole fucking investigatory side of this thing. Now, it turns out, big old red herring anyways. So we keep going, and then, I just kind of jump forward. We get to who did it. Now, so earlier in the documentary, they show the parents, the two dads, the two moms. Owen's mom and dad seem normal. Lauren's parents, dad seems normal. When they show the mom, now I'm going to preface this also by saying that I do not believe that you should ever, I don't believe you should, and this is going to be controversial probably, I don't believe you should ever hit a woman. I think I was raised, to not do that. Which it may seem that a person growing up in the South, trailer park adjacent, that would be one of your first lessons in life, is to do it. Like, you think you get taught how to hit your old lady before you get taught how to tie your shoes. And that is the case for a lot of people, but it was not the case for me. I was always told you don't ever do some shit like that. And I never have. So far. But with that being said, as soon as they show Lauren's mom, Kendra Lucari, as soon as they show her face, there was something inside of me. And I don't believe that I have any kind of like instinctual feelings about things, or that I know shit in my mind, no ESP or any of that stuff, ESL, C Senor, anything like that. But there was something in me deep down that said, God, I'd like to take a swing at this woman. And I don't know what it is. She hadn't done anything wrong so far in this whole thing. They just show her, You don't know if she's bad or good or normal, You don't know anything. I just saw her face and I said, I don't like it. Which I know, I shouldn't be, thinking about people's looks in such a way, for the obviously hypocritical reasons, but also it's just a mean thing to do. But at the same time, it's fucking ugly. Like, her face made me mad. It's like a mixture of John Mulaney and Ricky Gervais and, some sort of terrier, all kind of mixed into one and then put into just a real piece of shit's body. Yeah. So towards the end of this documentary, you find out that it was not one of Lauren's friends or Lauren and Owen's friends who did this. It was not one of their friends. It wasn't like an angry teammate or classmate. It was her goddamn mom. And let me tell you something. Kendra Lucari might be the most heinous bitch to ever walk the face of the earth. Oh my God. And as soon as you find out, as soon as they're like, okay, we know who did, they bust her ass, and it is such a great moment, but it's not good enough. I'll get into it later, but whenever they really bust her ass and they confront her, immediately I felt so vindicated for wanting to hit her. Now, of course, I still wouldn't do it, but I would love for a much stronger, get like an Amanda. Fuck me, I was hiccuping as I talked and went into a new octave. But get like an Amanda Nunez in there and just beat the hell out of this woman. God, put that in like Jake Paul's next fight. Have that be the the co-headliner. But anyway, so that happens. And you're just like, this woman is a fucking monster. And then, of course, she doesn't think she's really done anything that wrong. I mean, she knows she's done something kind of wrong. And this piece of shit has the audacity, which one, to even agree to be in the documentary shows the level of fucking narcissism that she has, where she is thinking that she's going to get sympathy by telling her side of the story. Like, that has to be the reason why she did it. And also, the paycheck probably helps, because, I'm sure not a lot of, she hasn't had that was one thing you learned is, she's been lying about her jobs for a very long time. Has been, unemployed the whole time. Which, if you're unemployed, you got plenty of time to say horrific shit to your own daughter, including telling your own daughter to kill herself. God. And then, so anyway, so she has the fucking audacity at one point in this documentary to say, everybody breaks the law. Just not everybody gets caught. So, people who drink and drive, make it home all the time, they don't get caught. They still broke the law, but then there are the ones who get pulled over and broke, and the laws broke, whatever, get caught. And she's trying to say that in some way equals the things she did. So, let me tell you something, dumbass. Drinking and driving is a horrible thing to do, without a doubt. And of course, not everybody does it, but a lot of people do. A lot of people. Not a lot of people pretend to be a random high school student and bully the fuck out of their own daughter for well, it's like by the time she's caught, it's like 2 years, including telling her to fucking kill herself multiple times and saying just all this like crazy sexual stuff about her fucking child, the boyfriend he's a fucking child. I mean, a teenager. Like he's not a fucking adult. And God, it just blew me away. As soon as I heard her say that, I had to like pause it and just think, God damn, there are some dumb people in this world. And yeah, so then throughout this whole thing, she's never really that sorry. And she's also maintaining that she didn't start the fucking messages, that somebody else did it. And she was continuing it because she wanted to get more information to potentially catch the person who started it all along. Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure that's what happened. A fucking idiot. But yeah, and she's just not really that remorseful. She's clearly a woman who sucks at life, sucks at being a mom, sucks at being a wife, sucks at being sucks at just everything that it takes to be a decent adult. She fucking sucks at it. And so she basically does, which they say in the documentary, Munchausen through, she does like a cellular Munchausen. And it's like, well, if I just abuse the hell out of my daughter anonymously, she'll come home to me every day, need a shoulder to cry on and whatnot, and I'll always have my daughter's affection. And it, unfortunately, fucking works. And still works, even after poor Lauren finds out that it was her mom the whole time. You can tell this mom has brainwashed the fuck out of her daughter to the point to where, even knowing that the person who said these crazy things about you, your body, trying to, shame you for like not doing certain sexual things at a very young age, and telling you that you should fucking shoot yourself, she still wants to be in a relationship, have a relationship with her mom. And her mom still has that fucking control over her. And it is sad as hell. So, if there's any kind of justice in this world, fucking Kendra Licari will be slowly ran over by a bus made out of shards of glass sometime in the next, 48 hours, preferably. Just so wild. Yeah. This is definitely not what I thought this documentary was going to be. I thought it was going to be more along the lines of like the dating catfish kind of thing, which I've had some firsthand experience in. I mean, I'm not as the, not as the catfisher. Yeah, it's not as the catfish, but I was never actually catfished either. Like I kind of was. Actually, I don't even think I've ever told that story on here. So, fuck it. Story time. Story time with Cody Tucker. So, yeah. Set the stage, I suppose. The year was 2011. Whitney Houston still knew how to take a bath correctly. That's about all I can think of that happened before or around that time. Pretty sure Whitney Houston was still alive. I do not know why that is what popped in my head, but yeah, Jesus. So, anyways, it was 2011. I was in high school. There was a guy that I had a class with who was dating this girl that he would show us these pictures of her on Facebook. Very attractive girl. And everybody's like, God damn, good on you. Where does she go to school? And then, of course, she don't go here. I'm like, all right. But, and then we would say like, oh, where she live? Oh, she lives here. Well, all right. Now that's kind of odd. There's not a lot of options. But apparently, he would always have like these excuses. But at the time, I will admit, I didn't necessarily think he was lying or because I didn't really know what the fuck catfishing was. Did not even know that that was a thing that people did, actually. It's probably pretty naive on my part, but yeah, didn't really know. So I was just like, oh, okay, that's kind of whatever, kind of weird, but I guess there's probably some explanation. And then, that kind of, and we would like ask him about it, and we would kind of like make fun of him, whatever, because more so in my mind, it wasn't that I thought he was thinking that this girl didn't exist. It was more just me thinking he's lying about being in a relationship with her. Like, this girl definitely exists, but he's just saying that he's dating her and he's actually not. And he knows nobody knows her, so they won't be able to fucking find out. That's more like where I was thinking. But then after he, eventually said that, oh yeah, we've broken up, we've parted ways, I was like, I'm gonna see what's going on with this girl. Because later on, it started getting like this is kind of fucking weird. Like, nobody has ever seen this girl. And then you start hearing a little bit of tweets. People kind of dropping things in your ear saying, I don't think this girl actually exists. So I was like, oh, well, fuck me. I could, I'll also admit, I did not have a lot of things going on in my life at that time. I had a lot of free time on my hands. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll see if I can catch the person, or, find out for myself. So I reached out and then started, talking to this girl, and would just not just outright say like, are you real? But I would try to figure out things and ask questions to see if I could lead up to something where she might say something that is fishy, catfishy. And so then at one point I was like, oh, we should meet up. And she said, oh, that'd be great. And then I was like, oh, fuck, that's kind of crazy. Because I would have just thought she would have made up an excuse and said, no, we can't. So I was like, so she said, yeah, well, let's meet up tomorrow. I was like, fucking A. And I was like, I'll come pick you up. Where do you live? Thinking, ooh, no, let's not do that. Let's just meet somewhere. Gave me an address. It's like, oh, okay. Now this is kind of crazy. I put in the address, start driving to the house. Now she doesn't really know anything about me, most likely, or knows who I know or what I know or whatever. I'm driving to the address, and I'm like, this is interesting, because the address she gave me is the neighbor of my grandparents, who I know these people very fucking well. I've known them since I was about 3 years old. I know for a fact they don't have they don't have her as a daughter. So that's when I was like, okay, this is definitely a fishy fucking thing. Then I find out that you can put in a person's phone number, because it's a cell phone. You can put in a cell phone number online, and it'll tell you who's fucking, it'll give you the name and the address of fucking who it belongs to, and put it in, and it came up as being one of my neighbors. And sure enough, it was a girl that I remember riding the bus with as a little kid, who was weird as fuck. And yeah, she was the one pretending to be that girl. It was definitely not her. I can tell you that. And yeah, so I was like, oh my God. And then I just sent a message with that name in it, nothing else, just first name, last name of the real person, send it to her, and then block, nothing. And I was like, yeah, there we go. And I'll be honest, I kind of felt like Batman a little bit. you know, like Sherlock Holmes, something like that. It was a fucking great feeling. And yeah, and so there's my one run in with a catfish. It's never happened again. As far as I know, I mean, I think now it's so fucking obvious. It's like somebody who's like, like a smoking hot, like, 10 out of 10, and you look and they got like fucking 30 followers. Like, well, now that's probably not true. That's probably a little off, I would imagine. Yeah, so there's that. So, stay safe out there. And if something seems too good to be true, it is. Most likely. Except for the lottery. If you win the lottery, that is not too good to be true. People say that there's like a curse of the lottery. I don't believe in all that bullshit. I just think some people don't know how to have fun. Or maybe have a little too much fun. Because people are like, oh, I wouldn't want to win the lottery because, bad things happen to people who win the lottery. Bad things happen to people who are also broke as fuck. You think people who are, barely above the poverty line are, stress free? I'd much rather have the money stress than the I don't have any money stress. Not sure how in the fuck I got to that, but such is the way of this whole bullshit. But anyways, I think we should probably just move on to something else. Because, yeah, that pretty much sums up the documentary. It's great, a very good documentary. I was going to say, if you haven't watched it, check it out. But you don't really have any need to now. And also, I think it probably teaches kids a lot of lessons, or teens at least, They just don't read shit. Somebody says something bad about you, fucking block them, walk away. Block and walk away. It's a great feeling. I block people on a daily basis. And I get great joy out of it. If anybody says something I don't like, it's kind of the joy of like social media. Is you can talk to really anybody you want. But you can also not. And you could just block them. Just erase them from existence. Technologically speaking. And yeah. Somebody says something you don't like, you can just fucking delete it. Like, you don't have to let them. It's a great, great feeling. And I get a lot of joy out of doing such. So, yeah, if you've ever, written something kind of nasty about me in a comment and wondered, well, why isn't that comment still there? Well, it's because I fucking deleted it, dickhead. And probably blocked you. So, yeah. I mean, maybe that makes me a bit of a soft ass bitch, but I don't feel it does. I still feel pretty goddamn good about myself after doing all that. So yeah. Anyways, now time to move on. Which actually, yeah, we'll just move on and then I'll get to that. So ignore the dribble that just came out of my mouth. Weird way of putting that, but yeah. Moving on. We're back to this time of year, which I did kind of give a little bit of a preview for it last week of what's going to happen on this week's episode. Now this is going to be the last episode, before the last episode before the NFL season kicks off. Had to make sure that was actually right. It is. So got to do what I do every year and predict who I think is going to go to the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship, who's going to win those two games, go be the teams playing in the Super Bowl, and who will win the Super Bowl. Now, if you recall, I've only done this correct. I've only corrected it, guessed it correctly. Fucking hell. My God. Yeah. It's weird how your brain does that. Maybe it's just my brain fumbles words around. But anyways, it's also just weird how you talk and you don't really think about what you're saying when you do it. Like there's nothing in my brain. Like I'm not saying these words in my brain first. So it's like, how the hell do I know to say them? Like, am I just having a thought and my mouth just immediately says the word out? Like, or is it just so fast that I don't know that I am thinking of the word first and then sending the signal to my mouth to make the shape to have that word be said? Oh boy. Yeah. That's it's one of those thoughts that'll keep you awake for a while. It's all part of the old bicameral brain, if you're not familiar with that. But yeah, I guess there's no reason to really go into details. Bicameral mind, it's the idea of the left brain, right brain. Now whenever a signal goes from one side to the other, it's so fast you don't even notice it. But at one point there used to be a time where that time was a little bit longer. The time it took for a signal to leave your brain and go, to your mouth or whatever, or to go to your body to make you do the action, there's a little bit of a longer delay. And so you would literally have something in your brain say, do this, and then you would do it. Whereas like now, like if I want to like pick up this bottle of nice Ozarka spring water, like I don't have to like think to do it. Like I just do it. I don't have to think, okay, move your arm in this direction. Like, but apparently there was like everything you did was like narrated. That's like the theory. And then that's where like people think maybe the idea of like a god or, like a subconscious, like like a creator, an all powerful god, like controlling your moves and controlling your thoughts, that's where that comes from is, back then. Is any of that true? Who the fuck knows? Is there any reason for me to even be talking about it? Because I'm not 100% sure that anything I just said was actually correct. No. Probably no reason for that either. But it did just happen. So, alright. So back to predicting the fucking NFL. Predicting something that won't happen until January. Alright. Fun stuff. So anyway, so as you remember, I've done this once correctly. Every other year I've gotten like one team right. And yeah. So I did do the whole, Final Four, Final Two, Final One, all the way correct one time. It was when the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I'm hoping to do it one more time at least before I, go into the old great beyond. So if this year's, if this season's the season, then by God, that's not good. So for AFC, I'll do AFC first. Before I even get to it, Arch Manning's a real fucking letdown, isn't he? Holy hell. I'm not a big college football fan whatsoever because it's fucking students playing sports. And I'm not a student. I wouldn't go to a college and watch a med school student do an open heart surgery. That's just, I know that might be a crazy thought, but yeah, I think college football is kind of fucking weird. But I did want to watch it because, I have a real hatred for the Manning family in general. And so I kind of was rooting for him to fail as well, which I shouldn't. You shouldn't root for people to fail, I guess, but I kind of like doing it. And I'm being from Texas, and somewhat of an alumni of the University of Texas, even though I didn't go to the actual University of Texas, went to one of the shittier versions of it, but I still tell people that I went to UT because it makes me sound more important than I actually am. So anyways, yeah, he just played like absolute dog shit on his first game, which granted, first game, but still. It's all people have to judge you off. Gotta do a good job. He didn't. And it made me feel kind of good. Because, I don't know if people know this about his uncle, but Peyton Manning is a massive piece of shit. And now this whole thing, I'll just go ahead and start off by saying that it allegedly happened. And you can choose to believe it if you want or don't. Or you could look into it for yourself and find out some wild shit about Peyton Manning. But when Peyton Manning was in college at the University of Tennessee, he used to do a little game where he would sexually assault one of the team's trainers. And when it started coming close to her finally saying, "Hey, asshole, I'm gonna fucking report this," well, what do you know? She gets fired. And basically threatened, like really threatened by Peyton Manning's dad, former New Orleans Saints quarterback Archie Manning. And Peyton Manning has showed zero remorse. And used to say some pretty horrific shit to her as well. I believe now again, allegedly, all of it's alleged. None of it's been proven in court or anything like that. But allegedly, he would also, make up rumors that she was fucking football players because, to try to lower her credibility. A lot of, just great, admirable behavior by a guy that people still fucking look up to for some reason. But I ain't one of them. Fuck Peyton Manning. Eli seems all right. Eli might be cool. He does kind of look like he always kind of has a look on his face like a kid who just saw his parents make out. I don't know about all that. It's a weird look to have on your face 24/7. But, you probably can't help it. But yeah, so anyway, so moving on to this for the fucking 10th time. Yeah, sorry. I can't fucking help it. If something comes into my brain, I just have to do it. So, start with the AFC. I know that a lot of people think Pittsburgh Steelers have a good chance. I ain't one of them. I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers. Think he's an absolute fucking weirdo, which, two peas in a pod right there. Now, would I ever do any kind of psychedelics? No way, Jose, because there's not a chance in hell you're going to get me in the jungle wearing a loincloth, breathing in smoke from a hut, surrounded by people with war paint on. Been there, done that. Yeah. No. There's, I think a lot of that's a whole bunch of bullshit. I think, just fucking deal with your problems. So no, I don't think the Steelers are going to be good at all. I mean, they might have enough to, they might make it to the playoffs. Now, and also being a diehard, lifelong Raiders fan, you would imagine that I would just naturally say, well, this is our year. Reminiscent a la, Dallas Cowboys fans. But I'm not. I'm actually quite a realist when it comes to sports. And Raiders are going to suck ass like they have since I was in, second grade? Since they, got blown out in the fucking Super Bowl, by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to happen again, except with no Super Bowl. So, Raiders won't be there. I do think, despite how much I hate them with a fucking passion, the Kansas City Chiefs probably making it to the AFC Championship. I despise Taylor Swift with a passion. I think her music sucks. I think her fans also, equally, if not more, suck. Her music is not good. She's not skilled at fucking anything. And yet, she's the biggest fucking artist in the world. And I don't get it. It makes me just unhappy deep down inside. So, with that being said, I do think they'll go to the AFC Championship. They will probably play, which I know this might be a surprise because most people would think Buffalo Bills, but I'm going to say Baltimore Ravens. I think Ravens are going to be pretty goddamn good this year. That's my prediction for the AFC Championship. Chiefs Ravens. I don't think the Bills are going to go again. That's the one where I am kind of feeling a little weary about. Weary? I don't know which one's right, but one of them is. NFC, without a doubt, no questions asked whatsoever. Somehow, Jared Goff will take the Detroit Lions to the NFC Championship. Boy, I tell you, never in my lifetime did I think I'd say, fucking hell, Jared Goff is going to win a Super Bowl. But, not to spoil the prediction, but god dang. And I don't even know if I am, because to be honest, I'm doing this off the top of my dome right now. I'm just kind of, actually, I'm just scribbling right now. And writing it so that I actually do keep up with what I said, because I have a feeling that I would forget otherwise. And yeah, so Lions, without a doubt, going to the NFC Championship. Now, the hard one, though, is who would they play? The obvious answer is Philadelphia Eagles. Won the Super Bowl last year. I don't think that's going to happen. I just kind of don't. For some reason, I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to go to the NFC Championship. Now, goddamn, though, with that, I mean, who the fuck would be better than them? Washington Commanders did very good last year. I don't think that's going to happen again, though. Not to that same level. I think they'll still be good, but it won't be like fucking anything spectacular. Who else? Who else would actually have a good chance? Vikings, possibly. Vikings would actually be, yeah. That might be the. Packers, no. 49ers, no. Rams, maybe. These all the teams I'm naming are definitely playoff teams. But god dang, I don't think any of them are going to the NFC Championship. So fuck it. You know what? Eagles it is. Everything I said was a lie. I'm a phony. Eagles. So my prediction, AFC Championship, Chiefs, Ravens. NFC Championship, Lions, Eagles. Now, who's going to win AFC Championship between Chiefs and Ravens? I'm going Baltimore Ravens. So I believe the Ravens will be in the Super Bowl. Now, between Lions and Eagles, I think it will be the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. Yeah, without a doubt. That's my prediction for the teams to be playing in the Super Bowl. So what, Super Bowl 56, 57, something like that? With a halftime show probably done by fucking Post Malone or somebody else that sucks ass. If I had to guess. But yeah, so that's my prediction. And then to win the Super Bowl, this is actually way harder than I kind of thought it would be. Because fuck, I could see both of those teams winning. And now, granted, I never in my lifetime thought I would say with a straight face that I could see the Lions winning the Super Bowl. But fuck, what do you know? I mean, they might have a chance. Now, with that being said, Ravens, Lamar Jackson, just an absolute freak of nature talent. Not the sharpest, light bulb in the attic, but he can run like it's nobody's business, and he's got an arm on him. So, and then you got Derrick Henry, who is basically like pushing a Jeep downhill and trying to catch it, at the bottom. Good luck. That analogy wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But that is also part of life. All right, so winner of the Super Bowl. God damn. Never in a million years. But I think it's going to happen. Winner of the Super Bowl, Detroit Lions. Congratulations, city of Detroit. You finally have something to be happy about. Um, I mean, I would say don't go crazy afterwards and destroy everything, but too late. Kind of, your whole city looks like it got destroyed about 30 years ago. So, you know, get a nice cup full of Flint water and just go crazy. You'll have moments left to live. You might as well spend them throwing rocks through an already broken window. But yeah, I mean, a statue of RoboCop. That's your big attraction for your city. Jesus Christ. This used to be a very good country. Detroit was a place of, with booming industries. And look at what we've come to. My God. But yeah, that's just how it is. So yeah, it'll be a little Motor City Mayhem come February of 2026. That is my prediction. Well, yeah, like I said, along that, I'll also predict it'll be one of the worst halftime shows of all time. Because, the best indicator of the future is the past. When in the last fucking 15 years can you prove me wrong on that? Besides the Dr. Dre one. Very good. But goddamn, that is a diamond in the rough. Without doubt. So yeah. Yeah, I think that pretty much does it. I mean, I think it's gonna be a great season. I will probably be talking about sports, football quite a bit coming up. I can't help it. I know it's not really necessarily a sports podcast, but it's not really an anything podcast, if we're being honest. It's a podcast where one guy says a lot, or says little, but also says a lot. Speaks a lot, says little. And, I'm actually, sadly enough, very proud of that. Life is short. You might as well just keep talking until a thought seems to, reach an end. And then immediately start a new one without any idea where it will go. Which is what I'm doing right now. And see, end of thought. Holy hell. One day people, might study this by the off chance and go, holy fuck, I hope that's not what humans were like. Like that's what they were like, 100 years ago. Just rambling like that. Were they all fucking weird and neurotic and, spending 20 minutes trying to predict the future of a fucking game? Not all of them, but a lot of them. I mean, fucking ESPN has made billions of dollars doing it for the past fucking 30 odd years. So I might as well, get in the mix. But yeah, no, this has been a great time. Sure. Yeah, so thanks to everyone for tuning in. You all deserve a break. Might be a good time to go just kind of rethink what's going on in your life. 'Cause this episode's, roughly an hour. That means you, had to listen to this for that long. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It might be a good time to just go outside, just kind of look into the sky and say, what am I doing? But yeah, well, that's that. Until next week, goodbye.